Hi everyone, welcome back. This is my second video in my music theory course for guitar. If you haven't seen the first video, I suggest you go find it, in which I teach the musical alphabet. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to build major and minor chords. First thing you need to know about major and minor chords is that they are triads, which means they are three-note chords. The first thing you're going to want to do when you're building a major minor chord is find the outline. And this outline is going to tell you what letters you're going to use to spell the chord. This is important because, as we learned in the first video, some notes have two names. For instance, the note in between C and D is C sharp or D flat, depending on the context. So this outline is going to tell us what letters to use when spelling our chord. So for instance, if we wanted to make an A chord, whether A major or minor or whatever, we're going to need a 1, 3, 5 outline. And to do that, we just count out 5 letters from A. So we have A, B, C, D, E. And we use the first, third, and fifth letters, which in this case would be A, C, and E. This means that any A chord, whether it's A major, A minor, will be spelled with some combination of A, C, and E. And these notes can be sharp or flat or natural, but it will be spelled using A, C, and E. Now, when I'm figuring out a major chord on the guitar, I have a little shape that I like to use to outline the chord. Now, to do this, you start with your middle finger on just about any string except the third string. We're going to do it on the low E string here, just to make it clear. We're going to pick our starting note, and so let's do an A major chord. All right, so we start with our second finger on A. From there, we're going to go over one string and down one fret. That's going to be the second note of our chord. Then from there, we're going to go up 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to be the last note of the chord. So we have this note, and this note. We know that our starting note is A. Our next note here, let's see, it could be C sharp or D flat, but we know that A chords are spelled using A, C, and E. So in this case, it's a C sharp. Then up from there we have E. So A, C sharp, E are the notes that make up an A major chord. Let's try another one. Let's try a G major chord. So take your second finger and put it on G. Then go over one string and down one fret. And then go up 3. Our 1, 3, 5 outline, we would have G, A, B, C, D. So it would be G, B, and D is how we're going to spell this chord. Right? And we're starting on G. Our second note is B, and our last note is D. This just so happens to have all natural notes, G, B, and D. Let's try one more. I'm going to go to C. That's the 8th fret on the low E string. Our outline, let's count 5 letters, C, D, E, F, G. Our outline is going to be C, E, G. First note is a C. Go over one string, down one fret, which happens to be an E. And then up 3 frets from there, we have G. Again, all natural notes for this chord. C, E, and G. And those are the notes that make up any type of C chord. Now, for a minor chord, we have a very similar shape. It's just a little bit different. For this one, start with your pointer finger on the low E string. And let's do A again, all right? Now this time, we're going to go 3 frets up from the starting note. Then from there, we're going to go one string over and 1 fret down. We know that our outline is A, C, and E for any type of A chord. So we have A, C this time, and E. So an A minor chord is A, C, E, all natural notes. Let's try G minor. Our outline is going to G, B, and D are going to be our letters. So let's see if that lines up. We have G. We go up 3 frets to B flat. That's fine. And then we go 1 string over, 1 fret down to D. G, B flat, D. That's a G minor chord. You may have noticed the only difference between a major chord and a minor chord is that middle note. And in a minor chord, it's always 1 fret or a half step lower than what it is in a major chord. For example, an A major chord is A, C sharp, E, and an A minor chord is A, C, E. Now you can use these patterns on any pair of strings, but you can't do it starting on the 3rd string. That's because the tuning of the guitar gets a little funky when you go from G to B. So that pattern, or really any pattern, has to change when it goes between the G and the B strings. But I typically just do it on the low E string anyway. Now this information, knowing what notes go into a chord, can be really useful. It's helpful when you're perhaps learning a new chord shape, and maybe you've got something that doesn't sound right. You can check to make sure that you are using all the notes. You can use it to figure out new chord shapes that you may not know. If you know the notes in a chord, you can make up your own chord shapes. And there's just a lot of good reasons to know what notes are in your chords. Also, you can use that information when you are taking a solo. For instance, if you had a chord progression that went G, D, C, and you know all the notes that go into those chords, then you can make sure to emphasize the chord tones as the chord tones of the chords as they go by, and it'll make your solo sound more coherent. So, to review, when making a major or minor chord, use a 1-3-5 outline to find your letters. Then, to outline a major chord, do this shape. And to outline a minor chord, do this shape. Alright, that's it for this lesson. All this and much, much more can be found in the Guitar Theory Workbook. Check the description for a sample and a link to buy. Thank you.